Greetings and welcome to Make It Make Sense. Today we're going to discuss the Bible story of Noah and the flood. And since I was a little boy growing up, I've heard many preachers preach sermon about Noah and the flood and speak about destruction and judgment that is coming to this world and how they claim to be the Noahs of their time, the ones who are trying to bring the people into a safe place, into a protected place. And so when you look at it from a metaphysical standpoint and an esoteric standpoint, and from a psychological standpoint, with the understanding that you are physical, you're psychological, and you're spiritual, then you'll understand why it is said that Noah's ark had three decks, because your body is actually that ark with that three deck, and everything male and female exist in that ark. You see, when you understand the law of gender and the law of mentalism, you understand that everything takes place, is birthed in the mind. Everything is birthed first in the mind. Everything is mental, everything is psychological, everything has to first be a thought, it has to first be an idea, and it has to first be imagined, and it has to be birthed in the mind. And everything is masculine and feminine in nature. So when you understand it, it will definitely, when you understand it from that standpoint, it would make sense. But unfortunately, all these preachers have been speaking a lot of nonsense when they try to interpret Noah and the ark as literal and secular history and make you believe that it is events that would have taken place thousands of years ago, and make you take personification for persons and make you take allegory for history. That is when it becomes pure nonsense. That's why today I'm trying to help you to make it make sense by understanding your triune self, which means that you are three in one. Okay? And the Bible must be interpreted to you that way. Okay, on three levels. Now, if you think about a penguin, animals that only exist like in the North Pole, where there's a lot of snow and so on, where the climate there is different. And you check out the story of Noah and the stories in the Bible, you would realize these stories, if you really check the location geographically, you're going to end up basically in Africa. Some people fail to realize that Egypt and all of these places, they're in Africa. Okay? And so you will have to believe that a penguin gonna travel all the way from the North Pole and come down to Africa to be in a boat or in an ark. It just nonsensical and stupid. Okay, and it just to show that people don't exercise their mind. They don't use their mental capacity as they should. Okay. And the reason for that it is because they're just dwelling on 10%, okay, of their thinking, and they're not surrendering that 10%, which comes from conformity. The things that they came here on this planet and they meet these things and they conform to them and they never question them. But if they would die to their ego self, okay, and be open minded and submit themselves, then they would get the other 90% by discovering their God self, their higher self. They would realize that there are certain laws that governs all of humanity. Okay, and they would look around and they would see that there are laws in the universe that can never be changed by anyone. Okay, things that they can literally see. Like, for example, the law of reproduction. It proves that every seed, every species must and will always reproduce after its own kind. You can never plant pumpkin and reap watermelon. Therefore, if a preacher have to preach a sermon to tell me that what he's saying is going to bring me into a place of safety with God, then it means that what he's saying is coming from his consciousness. And I have to be one with him in consciousness, which goes back to the mind. So there's no way that anyone who believes the Bible to be literal and secular history could ever take it and make it make sense to someone who understands how the mind works, or someone who understands these infinite divine laws, these immutable laws that governs all of humanity. So, in short, I'm saying you have to definitely lose your mind and lose the ability to think critically, to think logically, to be able to allow yourself to be trapped in secular Christianity that's pointing to look outwardly. However, if someone like myself will sit and teach you how the Bible is pointing to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity, and I interpret the Bible to you metaphysically and esoterically, psychologically, okay, and show you that it is your spiritual autobiography that must be understood psychologically, and that it's all about the mind because we are living in a mental construct and so on, it will definitely make a lot of sense to you and it will help you. That is why this channel is called Make It Make Sense. I'm taking things that people have been struggling for many, many years. And many people spend a lot of time, paying their pastors and so on tithes and offering. Yet they have so many questions and there's no answer. Okay? And they don't like when you question them too much. Okay? They would deem you as a Confucianist. Okay? If there's such a word. Okay? As someone who's causing trouble in their congregation, and they'll definitely get rid of you. But I'm saying to you that you must come out from among them and be separate when you learn the truth about yourself and you know how powerful you are. You put that power to work and you would realize that right now, as I speak, there is a flood that's happening in the world whereby everyone is being flooded with so much information that they're getting drowned in information and intellectualism because it is fast knowing. It's only the thing that you experience in your life for yourself that you truly and really know. So the flood is always here, the flood will always be here, and only those who are willing to be open-minded, okay, and those who are willing to submit themselves so that they can unlearn and relearn and reprogram the subconscious mind, those are the ones who would escape the flood. Okay? Right now we are living in an information age. Everyone knows about the World Wide Web, and there's so much information and people getting drowned. Okay? There's a lot of dead bodies floating. Okay? And just information. So the water, remember most of the body is water. Okay? And all of these information and ideas from other people's mind. And so people just live in other people's mind. And they always like to talk about, oh, research this, research that. Oh, chat GPT say this, chat GPT say that. And they fail to realize all they're doing is repeating what they hear other people say. Okay, when I came into my enlightenment, I was told to stay away from paratism. It is paratism. It's a disease that most people are suffering from on this planet because they fail to surrender and submit their ego self and be willing to think outside of the box. Many people are still not ready to wake up out of the matrix, but I'm here to wake up those who are willing and ready to wake up. And I am I'm enjoying doing it. Okay, because it's my purpose. It's my calling. Okay, so being here and doing these videos and so on, and know what have been happening with me, okay, and social media. I know exactly what is happening. Okay, yet I continue to post because you know why? When I started to do YouTube, I didn't know anything about YouTube. I didn't know anything about finance, getting finances or anything like that. So it doesn't move me, okay, because I'm doing this out of the love of my heart for humanity, and I continue to do so. It doesn't matter how much views, it doesn't matter whether I'm viral or not viral, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna continue. Okay, and I will always be doing it as long as YouTube allow me the opportunity, okay, to upload my videos. I continue to upload my videos to all of humanity. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. And I want to say to you, if the very first time that you listen to me, what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, if it really resonates with you, and you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at Black Mad Guru. If you like to get my books, all the links are down in the description. I have more than 10 books to choose from. You want to take my course, it is for people donating 20 or more dollars. You have access to the inner sun science and technology to create your reality consciously. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. Also, you can join my Free Thinkers and Seekers University. And I post there weekly. I try to post a masterclass here to help you on your spiritual journey. But all in all, my biggest encouragement to you is to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below. And definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I just want to say peace, love you all, out.